Hello, my name is Mariana, and today this is a reading for Capricorn. So, Capricorn, as always, I'm doing your reading today with my own deck, so the cards that you'll see are from this deck. And so, today, Capricorn, your reading is directly associated to the first image coming from your opening cards in plural, because instead of just one card that is opening up your reading, you have two and they fell together and they complement each other really beautifully because they brought me back this image that I saw in a Disney movie a few years ago called Up the movie. I don't know if that's um, the right word, but if you've seen it, you know that there is this old man, right? That lives in this house forever, right? He's been living in this house since he was like, I don't know, a teenager, a young adult. And it was like this dream house that he purchased with his beloved, which was like his sweetheart since they were kids. And it's like just this beautiful love story that ends up, you know, kind of in a sad way, but also, and I'm not giving any spoilers because this is kind of like an old movie, but if you haven't seen, I really recommend you watching Up because it's really profound and there are really meaningful things to think about with this movie. And so the image for you, Capricorn, today, before I go on a tangent to tell this story, which is so touching and so moving and so beautiful and so inspiring and adventurous, but also very loving, right? It talks about the courage of going against what you set out to do or what is like traditionally what you have known, because the scene that is opening your reading that is connected to this movie, it happens right at the beginning because it's actually where the adventure of the movie starts, right? Where the journey of something new in the life of this old man. I can't remember his name. I'm really bad with characters' names. But, anyways, so he is pretty settled in this very traditional house, right? Almost like this suburban house. But then as time moves on and, he loses his wife and he's there all by himself, but he keeps on nurturing that space because of the memories that it collects, right? It's like his wife is still alive in that house, right? But the thing about, life in general, and especially like cities and how cities grow so fast, and yeah, I can totally relate to that because, yeah, maybe maybe you don't know that right now there is like this huge building construction going on right by my side, and that I can relate to in this movie because so this neighborhood is like, it's changing because all of the houses that were, this guy's neighbors, it's like they were being sold for these very high-rise buildings to be built, right? And so what happens in the beginning of the movie is that, he detached, right? Because he doesn't want to leave the house in itself, but the environment is no longer appropriate to his kind of lifestyle, right? So it's almost like what is it called? Like the owner of the new buildings tries to purchase his home, and he says that he will never sell the home, but is inevitable, like this deterritorialization. I don't know if that's the right word, but in Portuguese, that's a word that exists. But anyways, so let me show you what I mean by this image that I'm seeing with the two cards that came in for you first. The Seven of Swords and the Four of Swords. So the image in the movie is that, you know, it's almost like he has these balloons, right? And this is what I'm seeing here with the Seven of Swords. These balloons that are going to help unroot the entire house from that land so that he can take its home with him, right? And so this is what is like here. It's like this unrooting of a solid base, a solid foundation, right? To me, the number 4 has this structural, fundamental, solid ground, right? And so here are the balloons, right? Maybe this is easier to see. It's like, here are the balloons pulling you up, right? So there is this movement that is taking you up, just like this movie's title, right? It's like there is a journey that needs to take you, well, needs to unroot you from the ground, right, Capricorn, and take you to the next adventure, which feels, because it's all swords, right, feels like much more spiritual, much more high frequency. It's like up in the clouds, it's flying in the air. It's not necessarily rooted to the ground, right? And so I feel like saying, because these are the opening cards and we're already almost in 7 minutes, it's like these two cards are just the beginning of this adventure, which is like perhaps like a departure of everything that you have known throughout your entire life, right? If you've had like a very grounded life, just like the guy in the movie, the old man in the movie, like he's always lived there, right? For decades and decades and decades. But suddenly he's being like pushed by the environment, right? To uproot, to go up, right? And this is what these two are talking about. The adventure begins when you go up, because it is time to co-create something new, right? These 3 cards are talking about this. The Three of Cups, Judgment, and the Queen of Cups. So Capricorn, the Queen of Cups is you, right? Even though, you know, your earthy nature can feel like you are more connected to the Queen of Pentacles, you are showing up as the Queen of Cups. And, you know, if we think as the complementary nature of the elements, water and earth are very complementary to each other, right? So showing up as the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Water, and one that can, one that can venture upwards, right? It's like you can now go to the next level that is requiring you this upgrade, this upward movement that is perhaps going to take you on. It's almost like this journey of the soul, right? Because it's like you are ready to express this other part of your being, right? It's not like you have stayed grounded for quite some time, I want to say, Capricorn. But with the Three of Cups, right, it's like the 3 to me has such an energetic kind of dynamic. Like it's that this pure co-creative energy around it, right? Especially being the 3 of Cups, which now you are embodying this cups suit, right? So it is time with the Judgment, right? It's like this higher calling that no matter how long you have lived your life in a certain way, no matter how practical, how objective, how straightforward you treated your day-to-day, your chores, your house, your habits, it's like all of that is about to change, but in a way that is like taking you upwards, right? And it's almost like that journey that the guy in Up, the movie, right? he does it in a very graceful way, right? It's almost like he's not happy that he needs to move, right? That he's being pushed because it is time to move on. It is time to move forward, right? He can no longer stay in that environment. But it doesn't mean that he will depart, leaving behind all of the memories, especially, the Queen of Cups being the Queen of Water. It's like the water realm is where all of the memories are stocked, right? They are there. It's like they thrive in the water, right? They are kept nurtured in the water. And this is what you are doing. It's like you are allowing yourself to be uprooted, right? By balloons. It's like by spirit beings, right? By angels, by, these balloons are coming through as like so light that they can levitate, right? So that is the reason why your uprooting is being done in such a light way, right? It doesn't have to be something sad or something heavy. It's like, it's actually the opposite. If you are heavy, you will never be able to levitate, right? Or to fly off, or to be taken by these balloons. So because it is time, yes, there's nothing that you can do against this situation, right? It's almost like this inevitable moment that you knew it would come, but it's also coming through as like there is this new adventure that includes this co-creation, right? It's almost like there is something that environment didn't allow you to co-create. So it's like this uprooting is necessary, but you don't have to give up on the memories. You don't have to give up on the things that are reminding you of the good old times, right? It's not because it's time that you have to forget everything about the past. It's like the past memories are still with you, right? But it's just because you have done the work, right? It's like you have earned the right to take your memories with you, right? As the Queen of Cups, because of this, the Four of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles. So now you see, it's like the job that you have done is being now replaced by this, or it's like, it's not necessarily like this very strong replacement. It's almost like the change in nature, right? Because you have put in the work. It's like for the time that you were there, grounded in this solid, stable foundation, right? Represented by the Four of Pentacles. It's like you were doing things that were adding to you, right? Or adding to what you were meant to do in that space, right? But now it's like the nature of this is changing because of this calling, right? This higher calling. So it's almost like the higher calling is guiding the spirit team that is going to elevate you, that is going to uproot you, but in a way that is, it's almost like it's gentle, because the most important things, right, that is still like this potential for, well, continuing to co-create, right? But co-create things based on the good memories, right? Based on the things that you remember that are hopeful, that are loving, that are caring, that are just gorgeous and beautiful, right? And heartwarming. So it's like you are allowed to do that. It's almost like you have earned this right to just take what you care deeply from this place, right? Or take, as in the movie, like the entire house, right? It's like if we think of the Queen of Cups as really associated to like home base, or where she feels like she has security and safety, but not like physically, more in like in an emotional aspect, right? So you are taking this with it, because when you had to put in the work, when you were grounded, when that was the mission, when that was the plan, right? It's like you didn't bail out. It's like you never complained, I want to say, right? You never complained, no matter how hard the work was, or how matter, or how like the effort was, right, required from you. It's like there is this matter of hard work and just being diligent, right, at putting in the work that you were asked to put in a very 3D earthy manner, right? So that is what allows you, Capricorn, for this ship to take off, right? So the Ace of Swords ending here your reading is going back to this, right? So now that this work is done, right? Now that this grounding ability of yours, right? It's like you have proven to yourself that you are capable of grounding, of grounding. I cannot speak. Structuring yourself, but also build upon it, right? It's not just staying restricted to your boundaries. It's almost like you were doing the work to keep this growing, to keep this it's like there was never stagnation here, right? Even though this may imply that, it's like there was never stagnation here, because there was a goal, there was an ultimate like there was purpose, there was this objective accomplishment, right, that you managed to do, you managed to achieve it, right? And so now that it's time for this to replace it, or for this to now show its different nature, right, which is a nature that is flexible, that is fluid, that is light, that is able to fly, right? That it's like there is this different, it's almost like different expressions of the same thing, right? And so now it's time for you to experience this type of nature, because whatever you are about to co-create now, taking with you the memories that you hold from everything that you've learned from this previous work that you have been doing, right, so far, it's like you now have earned the right for the truth to co-create from like this, it's like from this one truth. But it's also like whatever it is that you are co-created, yes, it is based in truth, because it's like, because you are being uprooted, you are going higher and higher and higher. So you don't know what is going to come next. You know that you have this it's like whatever adventure presents itself next, it comes with this dynamic, right, with which is like a dynamic perhaps of co-creating with like these spirit beings that are, you know, your balloons or your angels that are lifting you up. But it's also like you are, this is like the, it's like you're going up. This is what I'm hearing with this card, right? No matter what, it's like you've done the job. This is complete. This is actually very, very good, right? It's like you have like come to the very top of this accomplishment, but now it's time to go up, right? No matter how much you try to postpone it, it's like it's like there is this pressure, right? It's like the environment is pressing up on you. It's like it's going to become inevitable, right? Just like in the movie where he didn't have any other choice, right? He just could go up, and that's what he did. And that's what you are doing apparently, Capricorn. It's like it's time to go up, right? You are being upgraded in a way, but just because you have earned the right to touch this truth, which is interesting because yesterday's reading, it was all about touching the moon, right? To find the unknown, to go after the answers. And I feel like that wasn't your objective. It's like you weren't going after the truth, right? But because you have done your work like here on this ground level so beautifully, so masterfully, it's like now you have earned the right to know the truth, right? And it's like because you know that you have done a good job, right? That is almost like the key to unlock it. It's like you know that you have done a very good job, right? So now you're touching the truth, and there is this adventure, which I don't feel like it's here yet, right? It's almost like you're just in this transitional phase, right, of being uprooted, but by acknowledging all of the things that you're taking with you, all of the good memories, right? And this is what is going to feed, or it's going to serve as like the main ingredients that you will use to co-create next. But so that is the reason why perhaps you are also being allowed to take them with you. But there's also like this, it's like this diligent um attitude in you when you were doing your work here, right? So now you're being granted this upgrade that is taking you to another level, to a higher level, right? Where this is available to you, right? Perhaps like this higher truth. So Capricorn, I know this, it's almost like this is very exciting actually, because it's like the opening of a next chapter that is like a complete departure, but not so complete, right? Because you're taking what matters with you, right? But it is like this uprooting. Yeah, perhaps that is going to be the title for today's reading. You are uprooting. But anyways, I'm going to pull more cards for you, and I'm going to pull from the astrological rooms in the extended reading. So if you want to join me there, I'll be happy to see you, and the link is down below. If not, I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.